What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. You might be wondering where I am and what this spiral staircase behind me is, because it's not part of our house. I will show you in just a minute where we are, but first I wanted to share a piece of news that I heard earlier today, and that is that Las Vegas is one of the worst places to raise a family. I would disagree 100%. I think it's what you make it. Wherever you live can be great or not so great, but we have really loved living here the past couple years and have loved all the things that we've been able to do as a family. And one of the things that we love to do are these little staycations where we get a hotel room with our Alaska Airline miles, because we don't really fly using those miles anymore, and turns out you can get pretty cheap hotel rooms here on the Strip. So we'll get a room, and then we'll either try and match it up with an event that we're going to see, or a concert, or a restaurant where you really want to eat at. A few months back, we bought tickets to go see a play at the Smith Center, which is right down the road, and that is tonight. That's happening tonight. We're going to see Miss Doubtfire, and I had heard about this room that we're currently in a couple months back, and I thought, we have to stay there. Not only is the room awesome, but the hotel has a really cool pool situation happening. I had looked at this room a couple times before, and the miles were just super high and the timing didn't work out right. And so fast forward to a couple days ago, I knew we were going to come to see the show tonight at Smith Center, and I thought, well, I'll just look real quick and see if that room is available. Turns out the miles were super low, the room was available, and I booked it. So we're here right now. I'm going to show you around in just a minute before we go down to Vic and Anthony's steakhouse for dinner, and then we're going to go over to the show, come back here, party, and then tomorrow we're going to have the day at the pool. And the cool thing about the pool is that they have a shark tank inside the pool. So you can actually swim up to the shark tank and swim around it, and I can actually see it right here. It's very, very cool. And on top of that, it's one of the few pools on the Strip that has a slide. And on top of that, the slide actually goes through the shark tank. So you can get in line, go down the slide, and actually go through the middle of the shark tank, which is really cool. So that's the plan for tomorrow. But for now, I'm going to show you around the spa suite here at the Golden Nugget.
I'm putting my makeup here right away. Oh my goodness.
10 out of 10.
8.9.
I would give it a 9.5 out of 10.
I've been chewing on this little cinnamon toothpick that they had, which is just one of those nice little touches. But the food was amazing, service was great. 10 out of 10, recommend.
One eternity later.
I thought it was great. If you've seen the movie, you're gonna love this. There was variations that were super fun, and I teared up. You want to tear up? All right, well, it's the next day. We all got a mediocre night of sleep. The room is great, but we just never sleep great in hotels, and the beds were just like, eh. Yeah, it was fun to just be in that room. The kids woke up and took a bubble bath in that jacuzzi tub. We decided that we would ask about an extra night in the room, and that was going to be almost $450, so we passed on that. And then we decided $250 for this cabana would be well worth it to spend the day here, have a nice relaxing spot, and this will give us a chance to be here for most of the day and go swim a little bit, check out the tunnel, come back, and I'm calling first nap on this couch. Got some TV, and there's a full menu that you can order from. It's really hot, even in the shade with this fan going. It is hot, and we're all going to get super cranky if we don't get in the pool right now.
Okay, well, that was our time spent at the Golden Nugget Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. We would highly recommend the room, the hotel, the pool, Vic and Anthony's restaurant, and even hopping over to the Smith Center if you can. All that to say, that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've been slacking on editing, and I apologize. We're going to do a little life update video here soon, hopefully our next video. But I wanted to close out this video with probably one of the craziest things that has ever happened to us. And this was right after we left the hotel. So we had to check out of our room at 11, and then we wanted to be at the pool all day. So we checked our bags in the bell closet and then went and got that cabana, and we were at the pool all day. Had a great time. We were gonna maybe eat downtown, but then we were like, no, let's just go get our bags and go home, and we'll eat somewhere in our neighborhood area. So right about that time, the shop that had Jesse's truck called, and it was maybe 15 minutes from the hotel on our way back to our house. And it was kind of in this like industrial, still kind of like the ghetto part of downtown. It was like in between Fremont and the Strip. So we go and pick up his truck, and I'm in the Tesla with the kids while Jess is getting the truck. And the kids are still in their bathing suits because all of our stuff was packed. So we just went straight from the pool to get our bags to the Tesla. And we had decided we were going to eat at Olive Garden, and the kids didn't want to go in their suits. So they asked if I could get their stuff out. So I popped the trunk of the Tesla, and we had a pretty large suitcase. We put all of our stuff in one big suitcase. So I unzip it, and the back of the Tesla was big enough for me to just lay it flat. And I got the kids their stuff, and then I was gonna shut the suitcase, but I was like, no, I'll leave it open because I'm gonna shut the trunk and let them change. And all the windows are tinted, so I knew that no one would see them. So I shut the trunk, let them change, and then Jesse wanted Emery and I to drive the truck. And so Nash and Jess were in the Tesla. So Emery and I take off, and we're headed. We get about like 15 minutes down the road, and Jess is right behind me in the Tesla. And I have my phone connected to the Tesla. And every time we get to a stop sign or stoplight, my phone will connect to the Tesla. So I think Emery and I were listening to something, and it would just like shut off. Kind of annoying, but I was like, whatever. So then I get this phone call, and it's a number I don't recognize, and traffic was really bad, so I just ignored it. And then they kept calling, so I was like, okay, I'll answer. But every time I tried to answer, it would connect to the Tesla. So then Jess calls me, and he's like, you need to turn off your Bluetooth. So I turn that off, and I'm thinking, something in me was like, I need to call this number back. So I call this number back, and this guy is like, hey, I am sitting here outside my business, and there's all this stuff, like from a suitcase all over the middle of the road, like laptops, everything. And it didn't look like a homeless person's suitcase. So I went and looked, and I found your number on your luggage tag. So this is a friendly reminder to always, even if you're going down the street, stay at a hotel, have your name and number on your belongings, because this saved us huge. I'm like so confused, and we're about 15 minutes or probably 20 minutes away now from where we got the truck. And this guy's like, yeah, I got everything together. There's all these like homeless people that are looking through, like trying to get it, but I put everything back in this suitcase, and now I'm outside my business, but I need to go. And I'm like trying to calculate, my heart rate is up, and I'm like, what in the heck? Because Emery and I were in the truck, and I had no clue how our luggage could be back where the truck was, let alone all over the road. And so Jess pulls up next to me, because I pulled off into this business, and I'm like, here's what happened. The guy said he's only can be there for like 10 more minutes, and then he's just going to leave our stuff out, and there's all these people trying to find it, so just go. So Jess sped back there in the Tesla, probably broke some laws, but he got back and got our stuff. So as Jess and Nash were driving back to the suitcase, with us still having no clue what suitcase they were talking about and like how our suitcase could have ended up there, I told Nash to look in the trunk of the Tesla, and he's like, yeah, there's nothing back there. And we had a giant suitcase, Trader Joe's like freezer bag, Emery's backpack, and some water bottles. And he said nothing was back there. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? So Jess gets the stuff, and what we figured out that happened was when I went to shut the trunk of the Tesla after I got the kids' gear out, or like clothes out for them to change, somehow it didn't latch all the way. Like it latched enough to where we thought it was closed. And then Jess and Nash took off, and the Tesla has a lot of torque, so they must have taken off fast enough to where the trunk opened just enough for all of our stuff to slide out into the middle of the road and then shut itself. And this whole time I'm asking Jess, I'm like, did you and Nash not hear like a huge crash or something? And Jess was like, both Jess and Nash said they heard something. Why they didn't choose to look back, I don't know. We do have really dark windows, and our little rear view mirror, like you really can't see anything out of that. So I could see, them being like, what was that? And then looking back and not seeing anything. The jury's still out on how in the heck they didn't hear this, but Jesse said he thought it sounded like an ice chest tipped over in the back and like a bunch of ice spilled. Again, why he didn't think to investigate, because we didn't have a giant ice chest back there, I don't know. But long story short, the Tesla trunk opened just enough for all of our stuff to fly out. And if it wasn't bad enough, I left the suitcase open. So all of our stuff, our laptops, Jesse's Apple Watch, like all of our belongings. Emery had just spent like $200 on new makeup for back to school. That was all in her backpack. iPads, I mean, everything that we always use every day, we took with us to the hotel. So it was in those bags. And this angel from above, I think his name was Carlos, happened to walk out and see all of our crap laying in the middle of the road in like ghetto, homeless, populated downtown Vegas, and picked it all up and looked for my identification, found it, and called me and waited there for us to come back and get it. I kept thanking him so much over the phone, and it could have gone really bad. We would have had no clue where our stuff went. Like we would have gotten to Olive Garden, probably ate dinner, and then went home and tried to unpack, and all of our stuff would have been gone. And we would have had no idea where it would have been. We got home, we investigated and everything was there except for a tube of toothpaste, which you could see on the road. And so we're looking for everything. I'm like, okay, nothing's missing. Our computers got a little scratched up and Jesse's watch, but nothing was missing, or so I thought. So I'm putting everything away, and the one thing before our trip, the one thing I told myself I cannot forget when packing up was Jesse's Invisalign. And he's been doing it for like 2 years. He's on the tail end of it. And I had just had it in my mind the whole trip. Like even when we packed up from the hotel, don't forget the little green mouth guard Invisalign case. And that was the one thing that was missing. And this was like 9 o'clock at night. And I told Jess, like, I have to go back. I'm not going to be able to sleep. Like, I'm already keyed up from this. But, like, you need that. Your teeth are going to, go back out of place if you don't have it. So I get in the car and I go back. And, again, this is, like, not a safe area to just be walking around. So I'm already kind of like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up and do some drive arounds, try and look for it. I get there. And what are the chances? There's a dude sitting like right in front of where the tube of toothpaste was smashed on the side of the road, just hanging out. So now I'm like, geez, I drove all the way out here and I can't even look for it. So then I do a couple more laps, and then he starts looking at me like, who is this person doing circles around me? So then I call Jess and we are on FaceTime, and I get out, and I'm kind of far from this guy, but I could still see him. He could see me. And he's like, can I help you with something, or you need something? I was like, oh no, I'm just looking for something I lost. He was like, oh, okay. And I just felt like he was safe, So I go start looking around. What do you know? There's both of Jess's top and bottom Invisalign trays completely smashed into the road, like 100% flat. So we found them. We didn't have to lose any more sleep about where they ended up, but then Jess had to go back to the orthodontist, get trays ordered, which took 3 weeks. And then he had like 2 horrible days of, he had to put it back in and deal with that like tightness. And if you have retainers and you haven't worn them for a while, you know what I'm talking about. It's just super painful. So yeah, anyways, so that was a fun way we capped off our very enjoyable staycation. So don't forget, whenever you're traveling, even on your backpack, you should always have your name and number at least, because it could save you lots of money and lots of heartache. All right, hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.